Des Bryant coming off a game-winning touchdown catch up in the Meadowlands against the Giants, pumping up the sideline. Spanish language broadcast available on both Fox Deportes and by utilizing SAP on our broadcast. Off we go as Bailey kicks it away with Huff waiting for it and out of the back of the end zone. And so Josh Huff, who returned 107 yards for a touchdown against Tennessee last week, will let it hit the end line and starting at the 20, huddling up on the sideline, what the Eagles do with Chip Kelly. And what are we going to see out of Mark Sanchez, who's making his 4th start as a Philadelphia Eagle?
Well, that's a good question, and it's one that all Eagle fans are waiting for the answer. You look at what he's done, Joe, in his 3 starts, and as I said, it's been a mixed bag for him. There's been moments where he has looked awfully good. Of course, they won 2 of those starts, but there has been some of those moments where you kind of scratch your head, and it's going to be important for him to protect the football in this game.
Turned the ball over 8 times in 15 quarters. Here's McCoy left side. Church chased him down. And no gain on the first play from scrimmage. 4th ranked offense in the NFL. They put up a lot of points. We'll highlight Gardner, who makes his 2nd straight start at right guard. And Jordan Matthews has become a favorite target for number 3.
Boy, sure has. He has had an outstanding rookie season.
First throw, pass caught. That's Cooper. And Riley Cooper a yard shy of a first down. Picked up 9, and the Philadelphia Eagles under 2nd-year head coach Chip Kelly, who turned 51 on Tuesday, are looking to avoid a 3-and-out to start their day. Sproles in the backfield now. He gets it, cuts, has a first down and more. And Darren Sproles with the first down of the game, brought down by Barry Church. A gain of 13 on 3rd and 1.
Well, Jason Peters, their left tackle, he's the only offensive lineman to start every game at his respective position, does an outstanding job of securing the edge and allowing Darren Sproles to go across the formation back to his left side and pick up the first down.
Incredible that Philadelphia got Darren Sproles for a 5th-round pick from New Orleans. Saints not as good. Eagles happy to have him. First down, Philadelphia. Here is McCoy. A little misdirection. And LaShawn McCoy is inside the 30, inside the 25. And 2 big runs back-to-back. Sproles, now McCoy for 36.
They got J.J. Wilcox, who you're going to see who comes up, and he's in a position to be able to make a play, but he gets caught in the traffic. He doesn't maintain outside containment. And LaShawn McCoy, this time he's able to get outside, much like Darren Sproles was on 3rd down.
Talk about a home field advantage here in this big stadium, AT&T Stadium. Not much noise. Pass caught over the middle. That's Jeremy Maclin. It'll bring up 2nd down, and the quick up-tempo offense with the Eagles right back to the line of scrimmage. And we highlight Hitchens, a rookie linebacker you like a lot.
I sure do. He's gotten his opportunities to play because of some of the injuries. He played earlier in the year. He's a young rookie player that is a downhill linebacker, very aggressive.
Sanchez keeps it end zone, looking for Matthews. Incomplete. A little shove at the end of the play on Orlando Scandrick, and a 3rd and 2 coming up.
I like what Chip Kelly calls here, and he's able to get Mark Sanchez out of the pocket. And some of the best throws that I've seen Mark Sanchez make have been when he's been on the move, whether that's scrambling out to his right or left, or some of the design rollouts like that last play.
Now both McCoy and Sproles in the backfield on 3rd and 2.
This is something you don't see very often, these 2 in the game at the same time.
Here's Sproles on the edge looking for a block. He's got a first down. Whether you run it with him or you throw it to him or he's returning a punt, he makes an impact on a game. He picks up 4 and a first down.
Well, they motion Sproles, and Orlando Scandrick is assigned him in coverage, and he's not able to get all the way outside. They try to come off of him with the corner, and it's too late.
Now 1st and goal. Pass is caught. Cooper, and he'll sit down inside the 5 at the 2.
It was almost a little self-defense there by Riley Cooper on that catch. Riley Cooper coming off his best season of his career last year. You see, he turns around, locates it late, but is able to make the catch.
Bruce Carter in coverage, and Sanchez suffered a hit. Now 2nd and goal.
Yeah, they bring the corner blitz. Brandon Carr.
Here's Sanchez keeping a touchdown. And a terrific opening drive by the Philadelphia Eagles. Here on the road, not dealing with much crowd noise at all. And Sanchez takes his team right down the field and into the end zone.
Watch Zach Ertz here, and then Mincy, he crashes, and so Ertz looks like he's going to block initially. They carry him up the field. It opens up then the running lane just enough for Mark Sanchez. That's an outstanding start to this game for the Eagles.
Sanchez gets his first rushing touchdown of the season. And it's the 2nd straight week with an opening drive touchdown for Philadelphia. And for the Dallas defense, which is starting to look like it's running out of gas, it's 3 weeks in a row the Cowboys have allowed an opening drive touchdown. They're going to review it. Looks good to us. We'll get the call when we come back.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
We checked in with Mike Pereira. He doesn't think...
After the play, ruling on the field stands as called. It is a touchdown.
So I was going to tell you, Mike's 1 for 1 on Thanksgiving. He's going to say he doesn't think there's enough to overturn the call, and it's a good fake to LaShawn McCoy.
And you don't see Mark Sanchez keep the ball all that often, so he drew a lot of attention on the fake. Anthony Hitchens, he carries Ertz just enough that allows Sanchez to get across the goal line.
Barking now to knock it through. He is 39 for 39 on extra points, 40 for 40. In the red zone, Philadelphia under Sanchez had been 7 for 7 when he took over. Then it had slowed down. They're 1 for 1 today. McCoy, Kelly happy. 7-0 Philly.
Today's game is sponsored by Stella Artois. She is a thing of beauty.
Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide. A great start for Philadelphia. 9 plays, 80 yards, and typical of the Philadelphia Eagles, just 3 minutes, 5 seconds off the clock. You can't catch your breath. Here's Harris. He will take a knee. And the first drive for the Cowboys will start at the 20, and that means Mr. November, Tony Romo. 26-5 during the month of November as a starter in the NFL, and look at what he's done in his career on Thanksgiving. 6-1, but it looks like he is going to have to put up some points here today. Impressive start for Philadelphia.
Well, and he's okay with that. I mean, as we know, this is an offense that has relied heavily this year on the running game, but they have the big play guys on the outside, and we know Tony Romo can drive the ball down the field. He can play a shootout if that's what's required.
Here is the league's top rusher, DeMarco Murray, who carried out to the 24. So a gain of 4 for Dallas. 6th ranked offense across the NFL, and Zach Martin. You want to hear an organization with glowing reviews for a rookie. There may be no rookie playing better in the NFL than the right guard for the Dallas Cowboys.
I think you're right, Joe, and this guy has played at a level that he should be voted to the Pro Bowl this year.
2nd and 6, Romo over the middle. He's got Murray. He makes a move and is going to be knocked down a yard shy of a first down. Went right around Cedric Thornton. And we'll look at this defense that is very good up front. How about Connor Barwin? Not just the haircut, but the sacks. 12.5 sacks, which is a career high, and that leads the NFC.
Yeah, he's playing at a high level. Had a number of sacks again last week, and in a game like this, he's going to have to be a disruptive force.
Cowboys with a fast tempo. 3rd down and less than a yard. And it'll be a carry by DeMarco Murray for a first down. Look at the NFC East. It's a 2-team race. Philadelphia, Dallas, and this, Troy, is the first of 2 meetings. They meet in a couple of weeks in Philadelphia.
Yeah, the way the scheduling came out, having these 2 divisional leaders meet in 2 of the next 3 weeks is really something. So a lot on the line here today. Here's
another one from Murray, trying to establish the run. A much different approach for the Dallas Cowboys here in 2014. And it's a big reason why they are 8-3 with what they do on the ground.
Yeah, nobody's been able to slow this guy down. Only one time all season long has he not rushed for 100 yards. That was in a loss here at home against the Arizona Cardinals. But even in that game, he was averaging over 4 yards a carry. Nobody has held him under 4 yards per carry all season long. Come on.
2nd and 6. Romo keeps it to the sideline, broken up, and a good play defensively. That's Kerry Williams as he got his left arm in front of Des Bryant. 3rd down coming up.
Well, great protection up front. This is a 2-man route. So they're going to leave 8 guys in protection. 2 receivers are running routes on the outside. Des Bryant, as you see, and that's an excellent job by Kerry Williams, playing him tight. They ask a lot from these corners, Joe, and if they're not able to get pressure on Romo, you leave these guys exposed. They'll start hitting some big plays if they can't get after him more than that in the pocket.
3rd down and 6. Romo, pass, Beasley, caught. Depends on the spot. Knocked down right at the 41, and we'll see. It looks to be inches short. It's 4th down. And how daring does Jason Garrett want to be if it is inches short here on Thanksgiving?
We're going to see the twist that the Eagles run with Connor Barwin. This is how he got freed up last week on a couple sacks, and it's one of the moves that the Eagles liked. Cowboys were prepared for it. They pick it up nicely.
It looked like Beasley was short of the line to gain. Needing to get it all the way to the 41, and so they're going to give it to him. And I mean by a hair. He gets a 1st down, and looking at the marker on the far side, you can see the first official come in and hold up the fist indicating 4th down. That looked to be a little off.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens now to finish this drive for the Cowboys, whether or not they're able to come away with points, because this early in the game and where this ball is on the field, there's no way Jason Garrett goes for it on 4th down.
See if the Cowboys take advantage of that. Little cutback run by Murray. And DeMarco picks up 2, brought down by Connor Barwin in the play selection. You see how it has evolved over time and what they've done on the ground, running the ball 49% of the time. They've been screaming for that here in Dallas for a long time.
I think it goes back to the draft room when they made the decision to draft Zach Martin. They made a real philosophical change offensively and said, we're going to take advantage of these 1st-round picks and commit ourselves to running the football. It's been a great decision for this franchise, and it's why they're 8-3.
Here's a screen set up for Murray. And one blocker in front. He's got a 1st down and more. Cutting it across the field. And he picks up 10. Trent Cole on the stop, and DeMarco Murray with a little catch and run, and then showing what he can do in the open field.
Yeah, great job by DeMarco Murray. Some poor tackling by the Philadelphia Eagles. Connor Barwin has a chance to make a play there. He misses. And then as DeMarco Murray reverses field, you always start worrying then about somebody coming across. You don't see him as a runner and getting the ball knocked out, but DeMarco Murray holds on to it.
Murray's lost 5 fumbles this season. Here's Randall. And Joseph Randall with his 1st carry picks up 3. I think you have to credit the addition of Scott Linehan, who is officially the pass game coordinator, but he's the guy calling the plays. And it's like a different team, and he has really held Tony Romo accountable for what he's doing at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they title him the passing game coordinator. He's calling the plays, so whatever he's coordinating, it's working. And he's mixing in the run, he's mixing in the pass. They still get big plays down the field. There's a lot of credit to go around. Bill Callahan, the offensive line coach, who served as a coordinator last year, he's done an outstanding job also.
Here's one for Randall. He can't get around Jenkins. Good work by Malcolm Jenkins. No gain on the play. 3rd down coming up.
You know, you talk about the drive that Philadelphia had, Joe, to open up this game. Just 3 minutes and 5 seconds on an 80-yard drive. this defense, when you look at them statistically, they don't look like they're all that good because they rank 27th in the NFL based on yards, but they're on the field a lot. And that's just the way that they have to do it. And I don't know that a defense in Chip Kelly's offense is ever going to rank very high.
Third down and 8 to the sideline. Pass is broken up. And good work defensively on Dez Bryant by Bradley Fletcher. So we've seen Kerry Williams on him, and now Bradley Fletcher. Good play.
Yeah, tight coverage. There was a lot of contact. I was looking to see if a flag was going to be thrown, and Bradley Fletcher has a grab there of the shoulder pad and jersey of Dez Bryant. Should have been called. It looks like they're going to let these guys play here this afternoon.
Well, this crew, headed by the referee Clete Blakeman, calls the fewest penalties as an officiating crew among all 17 crews in the NFL this season. No call. Philly has it up 7. Gosh, happy Thanksgiving. Philadelphia has it starting at their own 12. Up by 7. Good start to this game. Good start to this drive. McCoy doing what he does in the open field. Barry Church on the tackle, but a gain of 19 to start this second drive.
Well, you mentioned Andrew Gardner. He's getting the start there at right guard. He does an excellent job on Barry Church, and one-on-one on J.J. Wilcox. Not many can make that tackle.
Out to his right, Sanchez has got Matthews. And the rookie Jordan Matthews has got a first down across the 45. 15-yard completion.
Well, we talk about the game that LaShawn McCoy had last week, one of his best games, and now he's carrying it over into this one, and he's a tough guy to get to the ground when he gets out in the open.
Another first down play. Catch is made, and that's Macklin. Jeremy Macklin is good for 13 yards as he closes in on and now has his first 1,000-yard receiving season in the NFL.
Yeah, and the Philadelphia Eagles, they're going west, and they're facing right into that sun that's a problem here at AT&T Stadium.
Sanchez just launches it out of bounds. It is an issue, and in this case, it's Sanchez looking downfield right into that sun as he is faced now with a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, it's more on Mark Sanchez throwing the ball, and for the receivers going in this direction, then they're looking back. It's not a problem for them, but it will be for the Cowboys receivers if it remains like this when they get the ball in this first quarter.
Sproles in motion. Sanchez fires. Pass is bobbled and caught by Riley Cooper. Had it, lost it, got it again. A gain of 7. 3rd and 3 coming up.
Yeah, a ball that sails a little bit on Mark Sanchez, but Riley Cooper fortunate to be able to stick with it and make that catch.
Look how fast they get to the line of scrimmage. 21 seconds still left on the play clock. Pass is caught for a first down. There's Cooper again. And Riley Cooper has a first down inside the 30, a gain of 7 on 3rd down.
Yeah, you know, I was visiting with Chip Kelly the other day and asking him about Riley Cooper, and he said, you know, he hasn't had as many opportunities as what he's had, you know, certainly last year. He's gotten a lot of them here in this first quarter.
Sanchez out to his left, throws across the field. He's got Matthews for the touchdown. And Mark Sanchez and this Philadelphia offense putting on a clinic here in the first quarter in Arlington, Texas.
Well, they run the read option play fake. They move Mark Sanchez out to the left. Jordan Matthews is going to start to the right side of the formation in the slot, and he's going to come all the way across on a deep crossing route. Mark Sanchez throws a beautiful pass right in stride to Jordan Matthews. I'll tell you what, Mark Sanchez is off to a heck of a start here in this ball game. He's throwing the ball well, very decisive on where he's going with it. 2 good drives.
He is 9 for 11, 99 yards. He's run for a touchdown and now thrown for 1 to Jordan Matthews. They love the rookie. Philadelphia now up 14-0. There's the latest. The Eagles 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, 168 yards, averaging 10.5 yards per play. They have a touchdown run from Sanchez, a touchdown throw from Mark Sanchez, and the Eagles are asking Mark to do a lot more than the Jets did when he took New York to the AFC Championship game in his first 2 years in the NFL. Here is Dunbar. Dunbar gets to the sideline, and a good return out across the 30 of 28 yards. Cowboys will have it. Back to the field, Tony Romo staring up, and a 14-0 score. Cowboys take over at their own 33. That's the umpire, Reuben Fowler. We'll tell you why we're showing him just a second. Here is Murray. And DeMarco Murray brought down by Kerry Williams off the edge, back to the touchdown throw to Matthews.
Yeah, Jordan Matthews is going to start here in the slot, and he comes running through the middle of that defense, and you're going to see Sterling Moore up at top, and he's in zone coverage, but he gets turned around, so he then has his back to Jordan Matthews. Normally that corner will come off of that and at least make a play on the ball, but he doesn't see it thrown, so a pretty easy completion then for Matthews in the touchdown.
Handoff is to Murray. He's going to drive his legs up near the 40. Third down coming up. But the yards per play and what Philadelphia has done against this Dallas defense, which had a terrible year last year, much better this year. But they had a brutal first half up in the Meadowlands against the Giants and had to rely on Romo and company to come back to win that game last Sunday night.
Yeah, Rod Marinelli was not happy with the performance by the defense, gave up over 400 yards, got off to a tough start, as you said, and now when they got better as the game went along. But not a lot of time this week. Getting home late, as we heard from Aaron Andrews, in a short week. Didn't have time to correct a lot of those mistakes.
Third down and 2. Quick throw. Beasley. That's a first down. Beasley had a big game on Sunday night. He's got a first down for Dallas here. A gain of 16 yards to the 5'8", 180-pounder out of SMU.
You talked about Zach Martin earlier in the year he's having. He's going to pull out. He makes a big block here, which helps lead the way for Cole Beasley. They also pull out Doug Free, the right tackle, but great execution in being able to seal the pursuit for Cole Beasley.
Dez got in the way, didn't throw a block in the back, and now with just over 2 to play, first quarter, a first down for Dallas. This is Murray, and DeMarco Murray picks up 1.5 yards. Brandon Graham on the stop for Philadelphia.
This defensive front is really the strength for this Eagles defense. The front seven in general is, and they've done a good job throughout the year for the most part against the run. They run a lot of slants, a lot of blitzes. Those are run blitzes that they employ, and as I said, by doing that, it allows them to stack the line of scrimmage, and they're fairly effective so far against DeMarco Murray, but it does expose these defensive backs.
Second down and 8. Romo down the sideline. He's got a guy down inside the 5, and that guy's name is Dez Bryant. 28 yards, 38 yards to number 88 to set up first and goal.
This is really a mismatch. We saw Bradley Fletcher earlier, and there's one-on-one against Dez Bryant. A perfectly thrown ball by Tony Romo. He lays it in there nicely, but Dez Bryant got a step. There's a big play for Dallas.
That is the 23rd pass allowed by the Philly defense of 30 or more yards. That's the most in the NFL. And that combination of Romo and Dez Bryant, what a perfect throw by number 9. On first and goal, it's Murray. And DeMarco Murray pounds it down to the 1, and that could do it for quarter number 1 here in Arlington as Casey Matthews makes that stop, and Dez Bryant fired up on the sideline. He got him down here, and now we'll see if the Dallas Cowboys can end up in the end zone. How about the 38-yarder to number 88, the free agent to be. Romo to Bryant, set it up. Back after this from your local Fox station. First drive for Dallas, 11 plays, 35 yards, over 5.5 minutes off the clock, no points. Romo thinks it's against Philadelphia. They jumped across early where they drawn off.
Encroachment. Defense, number 72. Penalties half the distance to the goal line. Still second down.
I think they got the wrong number there, Joe. It looked to me like it was Trent Cole, number 58, who took a early start. Not a bad idea, though, when you're down here, even with the penalty, it doesn't move the ball all that much.
It's the first flag of the game. It's about a 0-yard penalty. Half yard away, the Cowboys down by 14. Not anymore. Touchdown, DeMarco Murray.
Well, Travis Frederick, the center, and left guard Ron Leary, they do a nice job of sealing the gaps, giving DeMarco Murray just a clean shot in, and this was the play that set it up. And Joe, that's been the problem for this Philadelphia defense all season long. They've given up a lot of big plays in the passing game, but as I said, based on their style, it's hard to cover some of these receivers in the league. One-on-one, Des Bryant's going to have a heck of a day.
We've already seen 270 yards of offense, 4 possessions, 3 touchdowns, and it's a 14-7 game. Well, these two quarterbacks have had their lows and their highs. During the 2006 NFC wildcard game, Tony Romo sick of seeing this. Unable to handle the snap on a potential game-winning field goal Thanksgiving 2 years ago. Known as the butt fumble, running into Brandon Moore's backside. Both quarterbacks now leading their teams to a tie atop the NFC East. And I said it in passing. We said it a couple weeks ago when the Eagles were in Green Bay. Romo's put up the numbers. He's always been the dynamic quarterback. The Jets were a defensive-minded team under Rex Ryan. They draft in the first round Mark Sanchez, and they didn't ask him to do all this. He was managing. They had a good ground game. He took his team to the AFC Championship in his first 2 years, but now he's showing what he can do, opening things up.
Well, I'll take it a step further. What they told him in New York is that we don't need you to win games, just don't lose games. And I've said many times, I don't think there's an appreciation for your quarterback if that's your mindset and mentality as an organization. And not many quarterbacks are going to have successful when it's all about running the football and playing great defense. Clearly, that's not what Chip Kelly's about. Nick Foles has thrived in it. Mark Sanchez has thrived in it. And he's having a heck of a start to this game today.
About to get it back is Sanchez. This is Huff. That is a knee. Some great rivalry games in college football beginning tonight. 5th-ranked TCU battles Texas. Then tomorrow, 13th-ranked Arizona State squares off against 11th-ranked Arizona. And then on Saturday, Notre Dame taking on USC. It all begins tonight on Fox Sports 1, Fox, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
I'll be out at the UCLA-Stanford game tomorrow, Joe. And Terry Donahue, when he was our coach every year when we got ready to play Stanford, he'd always get in front of the team and he'd tell us, you better beat them now because when you graduate from college, you're going to be working for these guys. So
how'd you do against them?
We did pretty good.
I bet you did. Here is a handoff to McCoy. This time McCoy is bottled up. Good start to the ground game for Philadelphia. And you see what they do. They pop up. They go right back to the line of scrimmage. And there's a lot on that umpire. You see him scrambling back. Reuben Fowler to get into position after spotting the ball. Here's McCoy again, left side. Cuts it back. LaShawn McCoy is going to scoot out of bounds with a first down.
Well, let me tell you, anybody who suggests that LaShawn McCoy is not the back that he has been, they don't know football. This guy is an unbelievable player, and you're going to see the patience that he shows on this play and setting up his blockers, and then once he sees it, he gets going north and south. There's nobody in the game that I know of that can stop and start and go from 0 to full speed in just a couple of steps like LaShawn McCoy.
Wide snap. Sanchez has it knocked out of his hand. That's a fumble. Picked up and recovered by Gardner, but a loss on the play. It was knocked out by Tyrone Crawford. And a loss of 10. Gardner's the one who saved the turnover.
Now, this has been the This has been the problem for Mark Sanchez over the years. Too many times the ball's on the ground. He's got a lineman who's in his face. You've got to be able to feel that and know that the ball's got to come out. It came out, but not the way that it's supposed to. The Eagles are fortunate that Gardner was there to get on it.
Now 2nd and 20. Sanchez got a man wide open. First down, Macklin. And Jeremy Macklin into Dallas territory. Stays on his feet inside the 30. And Macklin with a first down for Philadelphia at the Dallas 20. 59 yards from Sanchez to Macklin.
It's a great job of Mark Sanchez recognizing the coverage. They roll the corner up. They've got the safety over the top. And there's a void then in the seam along that sideline. They overrun it then by the safety. Once Macklin gets the ball in his hands, Barry Church, he overruns it. And Macklin's a dynamic player with the ball in his hands.
Season long for Sanchez. 59 yards. They pump it to Sproles, and now with 2 guys open, Brad Smith, who's more of a special teams player, but he was open, but that was just a miscommunication with Sanchez.
Well, he had him too, didn't he? You know, you watch the film of these Eagles, and in every game you see about 3 or 4 different times somebody running through the defense open with a chance for a touchdown. And this time Mark Sanchez, he sees it, and really one of the first poor throws that I've seen him make here today.
2nd and 10. McCoy right side. LaShawn McCoy is tackled by Bruce Carter after a gain of 7. 3rd down and 3 coming up.
You look at what Philadelphia has done here on 3rd down. They've had a lot of 3rd in these types of situations. 3rd and 3 here. Then 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. They're 3 for 3 here in this first half.
Dallas defense ranked 29th in the NFL on 3rd down. Pass end zone broken up. Play made by Church. It's 4th down. Intended for Zach Ertz.
It's a nice play by Barry Church trying to get the corner route to Zach Ertz, and he drives on it and is able to make a play. Looked like the only opportunity that Sanchez had was if he had gotten the ball into McCoy's hands right away when the ball was snapped, maybe he's able to pick up that first down. But a heck of a drive by the Eagles and a good stop here in the red zone by Dallas.
Well, I agree with you. I saw the same thing. It was McCoy one-on-one out there on the edge as Parkey, the rookie, has been outstanding. Hits from 31. He's now 24 of 26. Good play by Church. Knocked it away. It's a 10-point game in Texas on Thanksgiving. Thank you, Osborne's. 236 yards put up by Philadelphia. Latest drive ends in the Parkey field goal. The 236 yards in the first half, a season high allowed by the Dallas defensive group. Let's go down to the field and Aaron Andrews.
Yeah, and Des Bryant is just going to tire himself out over here on the sidelines because he's been trying to coach up this defense pretty much the entire game. And you know, you talk about this Dallas defense, guys, they already looked gassed. Nobody's really talking. They're just sitting here trying to catch their breath, rehydrate. You mentioned how many yards they're giving up. They're just trying to get a minute over here.
Yeah, after a bad first half at the Giants last Sunday night.
I guarantee you they're tired. You say they've given up 236 yards in the first half. There's still 12 minutes left in the second quarter.
Another run on first down. Another carry by Murray. And DeMarco made the most out of it. Picks up 4. Well, on this short week, obviously playing on a Thursday, the Eagle players will tell you that they're really well conditioned for the quick turnaround because of all the sports science stuff that Chip Kelly has brought in, the sleep studies, the way that they can get away maybe with less in a game plan because they can just tire you out.
Yeah, in fact, he said the short week does not impact them at all. You know, of course, from a physical standpoint, you know, the soreness and getting over that. But in terms of game planning and what they do, he said, hey, we go into every game, we can dial anything up at any time, and everything they have dialed up here today has worked.
2nd and 6 play action. Romo well protected. That's Murray trying to get around. Kendricks cannot. And a good play by Michael Kendricks, who missed 4 games with a bad calf. A gain of 3, and that could have been really big for Dallas.
Well, there was good coverage down the field, and you're right. Michael Kendricks does an outstanding job one-on-one on DeMarco Murray, getting him down and forcing a 3rd down here.
You can see by the way DeMarco Murray was carrying that football why he has lost 5 fumbles this season. Careless, but able to hang on. Now 3rd and 3. That's Des Bryant. Romo, great protection, but missing on a throw to Witten. He had Witten open, but a hold defensively on 3rd down for the Philadelphia defense.
I think there was just a miscommunication there by Tony Romo and Jason Witten here. Witten he turns up once he comes out of his break. Romo's expecting him to continue out of his break, and you see as he leads him out because great protection in the pocket, and it is uncommon to see those two not on the same page.
Punt by Chris Jones. Sproles waiting for it. He's already got 2 touchdowns on punt returns this year. And he's out to the 33, a 10-yard return. And so after you misfire on 3rd down, you talk about it or yell about it. Romo and Witten, 17-7 Eagles. It's a Thanksgiving tradition. Football in the home of the Dallas Cowboys. 47th time over the last 49 years that's been the case. Here's McCoy, wrapped up and brought down, and a good play is made by Jeremy Mincy. A loss of 5.
Well, that's how you've got to be able to slow down this running game of the Philadelphia Eagles. You've got to be able to get penetration then into the backfield, and Jeremy Mincy, he does that.
Here is a wide receiver screen. Macklin breaks a couple of tackles and then gets popped by J.J. Wilcox. 3rd down and long, coming up, a gain of just 2.
Well, that time they lined up Lane Johnson out there as part of that 3-receiver package. They're running that quick screen pass out to the outside, but they bring out the right tackle to help with the run blocking after the catch for a minimal gain.
Third down and 13. Sanchez underneath. Sproles, long way to go. Making moves, won't get there. And the defense for the first time for Dallas stands up. Anthony Hitchens, the rookie linebacker, a gain of 9. It's 4th down.
That's an outstanding job by this defense. The Eagles have just shredded them here in this first half. They had not been able to slow them down at all through those first 3 possessions, and they force a 3-and-out here. Even on that 3rd down, they get the ball into the hands of Sproles. Not easy to get him on the ground, short of the chains, but they do it.
Donnie Jones hits it. Wayne Harris with a fair catch. His own man interfered with him. That's Church, and it's going to be down inside the 5. A special teams mistake as Barry Church ran into, by the way, a flag is down back on Philadelphia's side of midfield, but Church ran into Harris, and a good job by Huff downfield to down it at the 4.
During the kick, holding receiving team number 90. The penalty is half the distance to the goal line. 1st down, Dallas.
That'll take it to the 2 after a 57-yard punt. And the collision with Barry Church and Dwayne Harris. Dallas has it, down 10. Well, how do the Cowboys want to start with it at their own 2?
Well, I thought they'd come out and take a shot, but based on the formation they're in, it looks like they're going to run it or something intermediate. But knowing you're going to get man, here would be a great chance to take something deep.
Handoff is to Murray. And DeMarco Murray is out to the 9. A nice pickup of 7 to get a little breathing room for Tony Romo, who was quoted as saying, "I've never thrown it as well as I have this season," which is saying a lot, coming off a second back surgery and fractures in his low back during the course of the season.
Well, as we know, Romo's a big golfer, and so he's constantly tinkering with his game and his swing and trying to get better, and he's a heck of a player, and he kind of takes that same mentality to the quarterback position. He's constantly tinkering with his mechanics, his throwing angles, and he feels that he's found something that has really helped him this year.
Here's Murray left side. DeMarco Murray's got a first down, and that's impressive. Backed up at the 2. DeMarco Murray is out across the 15 after a gain of 6.
Well, and that's something that the Cowboys have not been able to do with Tony Romo as their quarterback. That helps also. You know, they're backed up on their own 2-yard line. They hand the ball to DeMarco Murray twice, and they pick up a first down, and now they can operate their full offense.
So a first down at their own 16. On the heels of 3 straight 8-8 finishes under Jason Garrett, everybody around the Dallas Cowboys, at least media-wise, was saying, well, it's time for Jerry Jones, the owner, to fire Jerry Jones, the general manager. Well, to me, Jerry Jones, the general manager in this front office, deserves a lot of credit for what they've been able to build with those 3 first-round picks on the offensive line, bringing in Linehan. This is a much better team than we've seen in a while here in Dallas.
Well, it's one of the best teams in the NFC. I've said it this week. I think Green Bay is the best team, but I think the Cowboys and Eagles are right on their heels.
Second down and 6. Here's Randall. Randall is going to fight for maybe an extra yard, pick up 3. Fletcher Cox on the stop. Third down coming up.
That's an outstanding job by Fletcher Cox. He has to work through Zach Martin in order to make the play. He's right here. He's a big body, and he has had a great year. You talk to these Eagle coaches, every time we have a game, they go out of their way to talk about the job that Fletcher Cox has done. He's hard to move, and Zach Martin unable to. He fights through that block and makes a nice play.
Romo wasn't ready for that snap, and down he goes. An early snap from Travis Frederick. Vinny Curry ends up on top of Romo, but that snap caught Tony Romo by surprise.
Yeah, the ball came early. You see that Romo's fortunate to even be able to catch it. Tyron Smith, the left tackle, doesn't even come out of his stance, and they've got a straight shot. Then at Romo, that's a missed opportunity to keep this drive alive.
Brings up 4th down with under 6 to go first half. Chris Jones with a punt. Good one. Sproles back inside the 30. Gets around Wilcox. Brought down by Dwayne Harris. 58-yard punt. 12-yard return by the league's best, Darren Sproles. 10-point lead for the Eagles, and they have the ball. On this special day, the NFL wanted to thank its millions of UK fans for their support of the regular season games in London by creating a special thank you message. Dallas Cowboys beat Jacksonville 31-17 in London Week 10. You were over there with Tom Brenneman and our group to watch the Lions and the Falcons.
It's a great experience. I'd like to go back every year.
Here's a pass caught by Selleck. And the tight end has his 26th catch of the year, a gain of 7.
Well, Brent Selleck, I tell you, the guy led the team in receptions a few years back. He doesn't get nearly as many opportunities, but he does a lot of the dirty work. He's a really unselfish player.
Here's McCoy, a lot of dancing, nowhere to go. Spencer was in there with Church and a loss of 2.
But DeMarcus Lawrence, he's able to get up the field, and the Eagles try to kick him out. So that's a couple times now they've been able to bottle McCoy up in the backfield, and it's because they've gotten penetration. We'll see what Philadelphia is able to do now on 3rd down.
Third down and 5. Sanchez comes underneath. Pass caught. First down, Sproles. Good throw by Sanchez and a catch and run by Sproles for 6.
Well, this is just an unfair matchup. You got Darren Sproles in the backfield. He's got a halfback option route, and Anthony Hitchens, the rookie, is trying to cover him man-to-man, and the veteran Sproles just showed him something.
Up at the line of scrimmage with over 20 seconds on the play clock. And they're just wearing down this Dallas defense. Macklin for another first down, a gain of 11.
Well, there's 4 minutes left in this half, and you talk to Sanchez and you say, hey, is there ever any discussion about taking the air out of the ball and maybe slowing things down? Try to take the clock down and not give the ball back to the offense for Dallas, and they never do that.
Here's one for Matthews. He gets hit immediately by Scandrick.
I say they never do that. He said we never discuss that. You know, with Chip Kelly, it is full throttle, foot on the gas pedal for 60 minutes, regardless of what the score is.
And there have been times over the year plus that Kelly's been there where they've had a tough time protecting a lead because they just don't worry about taking time off the clock. Here's Matthews right side. Gets a block from Cooper. They're going to throw a flag, and that's going to be a hold on Riley Cooper. Cooper out on the edge trying to throw a block, and it looked like he had a hold of the defender. Although Philadelphia says that it's against Dallas. Let's look. Maybe that little hand to the face by Skandrick.
I think so, Joe. I didn't.
Defense, number 32. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, Philadelphia.
So it's against Skandrick in that matchup with Cooper. Cooper, that's the big-bodied receiver that they have out there blocking, 6'4", 230. He had a hold of Skandrick, and Skandrick just got the hand up too high.
Yeah, and that's what Chip Kelly likes about these receivers. He likes big, physical, wide receivers that can go up and make plays, have a big catch radius, but he also likes them because they're able to get involved in blocking, and Riley Cooper does a nice job.
Here's McCoy, brought down from behind by Church, a gain of 1. We talked about this in the Green Bay game. Because of the communication from the sideline, Chip Kelly is able to talk to Mark Sanchez, even up at the line of scrimmage, because that communication system is not cut off until 15 seconds are left on the play clock. So Kelly can talk to his quarterback at the line.
Yeah, it's a great advantage because they do get to the line so fast. He'll tell him about a matchup. He'll tell him if a blitz is coming. He'll alert him. Sanchez wants that information. When Foles was playing, he didn't want as much.
Second down and 9. Pass is too high for Selleck. And he was well covered downfield. Third down and 9 coming up.
I didn't see exactly who got through the middle on Mark Sanchez, but just when he lets go of this ball, he takes a shot there by Tyrone Crawford. Hard to step into those throws when you've got a guy right in your chest.
So 2:27 left, third down and 9.
Cowboys look like they're bringing blitz.
Sanchez, pass is incomplete, but flags are thrown as Ertz was the intended target, and he got his head around looking for the flag, and it's a hold against Dallas, which is an automatic first down. But there are 2 flags down on the field. One's for a hold against the Cowboys. We'll see if it's 2 separate infractions. Each side with all 3 timeouts remaining. And Jason Garrett is waiting for his defense to make a play, maybe catch their breath.
Yeah, a couple penalties here if this goes against.
The only foul on the play is holding defense number 27. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
There's Zach Ertz. He's a tight end in the slot. J.J. Wilcox with the grab there. Like Ertz came off and jammed him up pretty good coming off the line, but an easy call for the official. That's a couple penalties now on the Cowboys. You had the one on Orlando Skandrick that gave him the first down, and now J.J. Wilcox allows this drive to stay alive with a first down.
Into the red zone go the Eagles. They're 1 for 2 in there today, scoring touchdowns. Initially 7 for 7 when Sanchez took over. 4 out of 11 over their last 2 games getting in the end zone. Ball at the 18. They hand it off to McCoy. Running left side. Good blocking out in front of him. Showing that patience again. And LaShawn McCoy, with a good block from Peters out in front of him, picks up 9.
Well, I talked about Brent Selleck and him not being a target as often in the passing game, but on that play he does an excellent job of securing the edge. They pull Jason Peters and Kelsey as well, their center, and just great execution.
2 minutes left in the opening half here in Arlington, Texas. The Philadelphia Eagles lead by 10, and they're knocking on the door yet again. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. They've been checking on Rolando McClain, the middle linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys, on the sideline, helmet in hand, off the field. 2nd down and 1. Hand off, McCoy, 1st down, 1st and goal coming up. This is an Eagles offense that has just 4 drives of 5 or more minutes all year. That is by far the fewest in the NFL. And they just keep driving against the defense. What's coming up on the Visa Halftime?
All right, thanks, Joe. Our crew is working hard on Thanksgiving, getting all your highlights ready for the Visa Halftime. Charlie, Don, Brian, and Wayne have the graphics. Director Stephanie is right here to roll the highlights. And Monique is on teleprompter, although we're not sure what Peasy does. We'll find out when we come back with Visa Halftime. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving! Back at you, Kurt, and everybody back in Los Angeles. And this has been just a dominant first half by the Eagles.
Well, the one thing about it, because they don't take much time off, there's a lot of time left in this half for Dallas when they get the ball.
Here is McCoy. McCoy maybe got a yard.
You know, if the Eagles are able to come away with a touchdown here, and if they run this clock down and they don't give up any points, that's a huge momentum builder going in at halftime, coming out. But if they score here quickly and give the ball back to Dallas and give them some time to get points of their own, that's going to be huge for the Cowboys.
Dallas just used their 2nd timeout. You just start pointing a camera at anybody on the defense for the Dallas Cowboys, and they are just worn out. The Giants ran 74 plays. That's Eagles-esque in that Sunday night game, and now on the short turnaround, these guys are gassed going against this Eagles attack.
There's a lot of offenses in the league that run up tempo, but you cannot really prepare yourself for what you're going to face against this Eagles offense. You can talk about it in meetings, you can work on it in practice, but until you see the speed in which they play, it's hard to assimilate.
2nd down and goal. Handoff to McCoy. Nothing. First guy there, Barry Church. Now 3rd down and goal.
Did the Cowboys call timeout there?
They did, and that's their final of this first half. Take a look at the playoff picture around the NFC. These two teams are tied atop the NFC East. And then you look at what Arizona's doing. They're right now the #1 seed. Green Bay at 8-3. Detroit won today, earlier this afternoon at home over Chicago. They're still on the graphic at 5-7. And Atlanta at 4-7 is leading the NFC South.
Well, Atlanta and that NFC South, I guess, should eliminate any discussion about expanding the playoff teams.
Yeah. Now 3rd down and goal. This is Cooper, broken up, and a good play defensively by Moore. A free agent out of SMU matched up on Riley Cooper and Sterling Moore. A good effort.
Really great job by Sterling Moore. Excellent coverage. He goes up, able to get a hand on it one-on-one on the big guy, Riley Cooper. So an outstanding job by Dallas of forcing another field goal down here in the red zone, and because of the timeouts and now the incomplete pass, there's going to be a minute and a half left on the clock for Tony Romo to operate before this half ends.
With no timeouts. 22-yard try by Parkey. What a trade the Eagles made for the Colts to get Cody Parkey. He's only missed 2 all year. It's a 13-point game in Texas. Dallas about to get it back. Cowboys, who will get the ball to start the second half, about to get it here before the end of the first half. A 14-play drive that somehow covered less than 4 minutes on the clock. And unbelievably, despite the dominance Philadelphia has shown the Dallas Cowboys offensively, the Cowboys actually lead in time of possession here in the first half. Their only touchdown belongs to Murray. Here's Dwayne Harris. Trying to give the Cowboys a jolt to start this drive, and he's only out to the 23. Brought down by Maragos. Have you heard about the new show Empire? It's coming in January, starring Terrence Howard as a hip-hop mogul, Taraji P. Henson as his just out of prison ex-wife. If you love high drama and amazing music, this is the show for you. Empire premieres Wednesday, January 7th, right here on Fox, and that great tandem inside and outside. Des Bryant, not much damage so far.
No, but the one big catch that he had for the 38 yards is what set up the lone touchdown for the Cowboys. So keeping the big plays to a minimum, certainly a key for this Philadelphia defense.
That's been a problem for Philadelphia. They've done a good job today. On first down, this one floated for Beasley, and he lost it. That is a catch, run, and fumble. This is a live ball. Allen on the return. It was knocked out by Brandon Boykin, and it's a turnover here by Dallas as it stands right now.
Well, it sure looked like a fumble to me too, Joe. He had possession, he turns upfield. That's a great job by Brandon Boykin of coming in, making the tackle, knocking the ball loose. Was checking to see if maybe Nate Allen was out of bounds before he was able to make the recovery. That's the only chance, I think, of this not being Philadelphia ball.
So a big turnover forced by the Philadelphia Eagles, and they will review it. And let's see, as the ball is corralled by Allen, looks there like he's inbounds. And something, Troy, you talked about coming in, that Philadelphia to win this game, now they're dominated on offense, but to get maybe another one of those return touchdowns or force a big turnover defensively, and it looks like they've done just that.
Yeah, this has really been one of the strengths of this defense and their ability to create takeaways, and we talked about that coming in being a big key for them, and they force a big one here at the end of this first half, and it appears that it's going to be Eagles ball.
Well, we'll get the definitive word momentarily, but our definitive word comes from Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles. Rules expert. Mike, first of all, happy Thanksgiving. What'd you see back there?
Hey, same to you guys. They're going to be looking at two things. Did he complete the process of the catch? He got control, both feet down, turned upfield. I think he did there. Was the recovery inbounds? Did he actually touch out of bounds when he was touching the ball, which was loose? I don't think he is. And the league sent out a tape to the media this week saying that they are not going to officiate the play. They're going to have to prove that the official made the wrong call on the field before they even think about reversing it. So to me, this is one of those plays where the ruling on the field is going to stay as a catch and a fumble and a recovery and an advance by the Eagles.
All right, thank you, Mike. And right now the ball is at the 11. It's already a 13-point game. And there's no doubt the first part of it, the catch, trying to put the ball away, making a football act, knocked out by Boykin, and then recovered by Nate Allen. That's his third fumble recovery. This is a very opportunistic defense put together by Billy Davis, the defensive coordinator for Philadelphia.
Yeah, I just think that when, again, going back to what I said earlier, I think when you look at yards, it's misleading because this defense is far better than they get credit for. They have to play a lot, as we've talked about, because of the offensive style, but they have played well here in this first 30 minutes. This will be an important possession then defensively for the Dallas Cowboys, assuming this play holds up, in being able to keep the Eagles out of the end zone and force another 3 points in the red zone.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. First down, Philadelphia.
A call from Clete Blakeman, the former quarterback at Nebraska in the mid-'80s, been a ref since 2010. His crew working here on Thanksgiving, and it was forced by Boykin. Brandon knocked it out, recovered by Nate Allen, and Philadelphia has it at the Dallas 11, up by 13 with all 3 timeouts left.
Oh, they don't need those. They got a minute and 20 seconds left.
It's enough for 4 drives. Here's McCoy. McCoy picks up 2 over the right side. Coming up on a minute left, and Philadelphia will let clock wind down as much as they want. Maybe, maybe not. Back to the line of scrimmage, 28 seconds left on the play clock. Sanchez just slides, and now it's 3rd down. with under 50 seconds to go.
Yeah, good coverage. Actually, good decision by Mark Sanchez. Nowhere to go with the ball. Doesn't want to force it. Create a turnover, and he gets what he can. But it's a big third down now for both of these teams. The Eagles have moved the ball, but the last couple times they've gotten down here, they've had to settle for field goals. This would be huge for the Cowboys if they don't give up 7 points.
We're actually seeing the Philadelphia offense slow things down and actually use a timeout. They're left with 2. This is our spot. They just honored you during the break with all of your work. You had 10 starts, I saw in the media guide. 10 starts on Thanksgiving, and so you're aware of what Eagles Week means for a Dallas Cowboy. They're aware of what Cowboy Week means for the Eagles. The Eagles are showing something here today.
They really are. They have come in here and played exceptionally well on offense. The only blemish being their red zone offense the last couple of drives. Defensively is where I've been impressed with them, because this is not an easy offense to slow down. They gave up the one big play to Des Bryant. It resulted then in the touchdown. But other than that, they have held up well, and they've done an excellent job against DeMarco Murray, better than anybody has done all year long.
What's it going to be on 3rd down and 7? Sanchez has to come off that first receiver. Now in trouble. Throws it to the end zone. Pass incomplete. And a good job by this Dallas defense to keep Philadelphia out of the end zone. Good pressure by Mincy on that play.
Cowboys are at their best playing man coverage, and so they go to it here in the red zone on 3rd down, and there really was just nowhere for Sanchez to go with the football. Even with time, he buys some time within the pocket and wisely throws it away.
Now it'll be a 26-yard try by Parkey. Drills it, making it a 23-7 game with just over 21 seconds left in the first half. The Thanksgiving Day tripleheader concludes tonight at 8:30 Eastern on NBC. And that matchup of Seattle and San Francisco, 2 teams looking up at Arizona in the NFC West.
That's going to be a heck of a matchup. Really a great lineup all day. With that game earlier today and the Lions and Bears, and Lions got off to a slow start, and then they rallied and won a nice game on Thanksgiving, and now this one. And you think about it, Dallas has struggled defensively, there's no question, but it really comes down to how well you play in the red zone. The last 3 times forcing field goals, and Joe, it's a 2-possession game, and you think about it, if the Eagles were able to come away with touchdowns on those drives, this game would about be over. I mean, at 35-7. So the Eagles have dominated much more than what the score would indicate at this time.
In that early game, it was nice to see Matthew Stafford and that offense get it back together. It'd been 2 really tough games offensively. One out in the desert at Arizona, then we were there last week with a game in New England, but they just took apart that banged up Chicago defense today, and so they have a record now at 8-4. Here's Harris. Dwayne Harris out of bounds near the 25. And with no timeouts remaining, and considering what just happened the last time the Dallas Cowboys had it, knowing that the score is within reach, you expect the Dallas Cowboys just to take a knee and get out of here.
Well, or maybe take, one shot and see if they can't get a big play and get into position to come away with maybe a long field goal. They got the guy who can do it. Remember also, the Cowboys get the ball to start the second half, so not as much urgency on this possession as there might be otherwise.
Well, Des Bryant's on the sideline, so I'm going to guess I'm just going to take a knee.
Well, it looks that way. Unless they got some kind of new play.
Yeah, that would be really deceiving. All right, a half is in the books, and a half that was a really good one for the Philadelphia Eagles, leading 23-7 in Arlington, Texas. Cowboys get the ball to start the second half. It's the Visa halftime report coming up after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Faces of our great crew that we get to spend weekend after weekend with. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan as we play on this Thanksgiving. The numbers for Sanchez as we will start this second half of the Cowboys the football. Here's Dunbar. He gets across the 20 spun forward to the 23, maybe the 24-yard line. Let's go down to the field and Aaron Andrews.
Hello, Joe Buck. Talking to Jason Garrett going into the half, and he said, yeah, the Eagles have done a good job on DeMarco Murray. He'll be fine, but the biggest thing for us, we just got to make a play on a third down. And speaking of their defense, he did say, yeah, they're gassed, they're tired. The biggest thing for us is we're going to have to force a few third and longs against the Eagles. Chip Kelly telling me, by the way, we're not taking our foot off the pedal here. We're going to try to go faster.
I don't know how they can.
Say somebody better alert the umpire.
Here's Murray with a cutback run, and DeMarco Murray is good for 9. Brought down by Trent Cole. The stats after a half of play, the Eagles with 23 points, 292 yards compared to the Cowboys. You see the time of possession because of these quick strikes by the Eagles actually favoring Dallas. 23-7 is the score. 2nd and 1. Play action. Good protection. Romo underneath to Witten. 1st down and more. Jason Witten to the 40. A gain of 8. Casey Matthews on the stop.
Well, they wanted to go play action and take a shot on the deep post to Terrence Williams. He runs a good route, but an excellent job by the Eagles covering it up. And Tony Romo, with all the time in the world back there in the pocket, is able to survey the field. Didn't like it deep. Comes underneath, picks up the 1st down.
Cowboys have run it 12 times on 13 1st down plays. They're trending toward running the ball on 1st downs. It's now happened 13 of 14. We just didn't see it in years gone by. A gain of 7. Kendricks on the tackle.
Pretty nice start, because in the first half, DeMarco Murray averaging about 3.5 yards a carry, and they come out to start this second half. 1st down, he gets 9 yards, and then on this next run, he picks up 7 yards on 1st down. So he's seen more open running lanes on those 2 runs than he saw in the entire first half.
This Philadelphia defense 16th against the run, 30th against the pass. More from Murray. Well played. Cole was in there. No gain on the play. Benny Logan as well. And now a 3rd down and 3 coming up for the Dallas Cowboys. Down in this game 23-7.
3rd and 3 Cowboys at the 47.
Only thrown toward Des Bryant 2 times. Here's a toss to Dunbar, trying to cut it back, won't get it. Well played defensively, and the first guy there, Fletcher Cox. And Fletcher gets up, wagging his finger like, not against me. A gain of just 1.
Well, Fletcher Cox makes another good play against the rookie Zach Martin. He strings him out one-on-one, and then you've got to defeat a block. And if you're going to be good in run defense, that's what the big guys have to be able to do, and Fletcher Cox does it again.
Here's Sproles with a fair catch outside the 10. 40-yard punt. The Eagles with a football leading this game 23-7. This high-octane offensive, Chip Kelly's been on the field for only 3 plays over the last 44 minutes of real time. Starting this drive at the 12, and an incompletion for Macklin. A lot of heat on that pass from Mark Sanchez, and some frustration for Dallas. I don't know about that play call on 3rd down and 3 with the way Philadelphia struggled against the pass this season.
That was a little surprising. I know Lance Dunbar, he's got a package, and he does a lot of things where they like to get him out in space, but if you're going to run the ball, I like the ball to DeMarco Murray. I would have liked to have seen him throw it.
Here's McCoy, not much room. Ball comes out. Dallas saying they have it.
It sure looks like Dallas was able to get on it.
Sean McCoy with only 1 fumble lost all year.
There's a lot of things that happen at the bottom of that pile, and it's not always who recovers it first as to who gets awarded the ball, but Dallas gets it. They've been looking for a big break to ignite this offense, and they just got it.
Let's take another look. Crawford was in there, but it was his own player. See who that is. Gardner or Johnson.
Looked like it might have been the center, Jason Kelsey.
Here's a better look at it. Definitely the ball's out. I think you're right. I think it was Kelsey. Hard to get a number on who was on the ground, but LaShawn McCoy was on his teammate's back, and the ball was just knocked out of his arms.
First and 10 Cowboys at the Philly 13.
Look at the most fumbles lost this season. That's a big one. Dallas put one on the ground with Beasley toward the end of the first half. Now McCoy, and each side has turned it over once. Another first down carry. Murray with Bryant on the edge blocking, and they're going to mark him out short of the end zone. There was the big body of Des Bryant that tried to seal the edge, and you could see the right foot step out before the dive for the pylon by Murray.
Yeah, good job by Des Bryant, who was able to free DeMarco Murray up to get the yardage that he was able to along that sideline. James Hanna, their tight end, he also did a good job securing the edge.
It's now second down and 1. They marked him out of bounds back at the 4. Back to Murray, nothing there, and a good play by Fletcher Cox again. Benny Logan as well. And now a big third down coming up for the Cowboys, who are needing to get the ball into the end zone.
Yeah, the two big 300-pounders, Benny Logan. We've talked about Fletcher Cox now a couple of times, but Benny Logan's the one who was able to slow Murray up. If Fletcher Cox comes in from behind, it's an outstanding job to force another third down here for Dallas.
Would you be surprised if they run it here?
Yes, I would.
Me too. Third down and 2.
There's movement.
Romo goes down back at the 10. And a great job defensively by Philadelphia. Casey Matthews was in there.
Yeah, we've seen Dallas do it a few times now. Now Eagles, they return the favor right here. Doug Free, he moved early, but they didn't get the call. And they're able to get pressure then on Romo and force the 3 points on this drive. Just an outstanding job with great field position, and the Cowboys unable to do anything with it, even after the big run on first down by DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, they couldn't do anything with a 2nd and 1 from the 4. Next carry by DeMarco Murray, lost a yard, and then Romo goes down. It's a 23-10 game. LaShawn McCoy put it on the ground, but his defense bails him out. And that was Lane Johnson who knocked it out. 13-point game, third quarter in Texas. Real coverage provided by Nationwide. It's now a 13-point game. 23-10. With Huff waiting for it. Eagles have had 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. Part of their franchise best 10 returns for touchdowns this year, whether it's defensively, punt returns, or kick returns. Dallas had an opportunity moments ago. The frustration mounting on that sideline as the Cowboys trail by 13. Second possession for the Eagles. They just fumbled last time they had it. That led directly to 3 points. 13-point game. 9:12 left, third quarter. Fake the handoff. Pass is caught by Macklin. A gain of 7. Mark Sanchez, who has about as positive an attitude as anybody you will find. He says he got that from his father, Mick, who's a fire captain and paramedic. And he told Mark, nobody wants to hear about your problems. Just go out there and do your job. And Sanchez has done that very well here today. He's got a rushing touchdown. Now he's got a rushing first down. He gains 8. First down, Philadelphia.
He's really done a nice job, Joe. He had the one fumble there in the first half, but he has managed this game well. He hasn't forced throws, and when you watch him over the years, there would always be 2 or 3 head-scratching plays, and that hasn't happened here in this game.
Here is McCoy, breaks a tackle, and then runs into the arms of J.J. Wilcox. Gain of 7.
A lot of John going on back and forth. We showed a graphic there. This defense has gotten a little bit better since the first 3 possessions of this ball game. I guess the fact that they were able to get rested up, they can thank Pitbull for that there at halftime.
2nd and 3. Guiley. Sanchez out to his right. He gets a hand to the face. That's what brought the flag. That was Selvey. Moved the helmet of Mark Sanchez and snapped the neck back.
See Mark, see if he's okay, but there's the
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 99. Blow to the head to the quarterback. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down, Philadelphia.
We saw Sanchez take a shot in Green Bay and was rolling the head around really the rest of the game, trying to stretch the neck out. That one obviously didn't feel good.
Yeah, no, that didn't feel good. And then he's checking his right shoulder, and the fans here, they didn't like that call, nor do you expect them to. But man, anytime they get hands around the headgear of these quarterbacks, they're going to call it, and it obviously was the right call.
So the Eagles, who just put it on the ground last time they had it for their league-high 28th giveaway, now on the move. Sanchez will dive forward, and he is touched inside the 40, a gain of 4.
No, it's a nice job because, as I said, they don't really run Mark Sanchez that much. They didn't run Nick Foles that much, but Chip Kelly's offense, he's going to utilize the abilities of the players. You don't have to be a running quarterback, but you do have to be able to pick up those kinds of yards when they're available.
Here's McCoy. He's got a first down. LaShawn McCoy is gone for the touchdown. No flags.
I told you the best. Told you.
He was playing around with the media after the big game last week, 130 yards against the Titans, saying, oh, really? I'm not the same back. He's showing it again today.
Well, you see the job that this offensive line does. Just an excellent job. Evan Mathis, he blocks the backside. Jason Kelsey comes off the ball. All of those guys along that offensive front do an outstanding job. And LaShawn McCoy, he's a hard guy to bring down when he's in the open field. Nobody's going to catch him.
And it's a 20-point game. And for McCoy, who throws a stiff arm into Hitchens, his 4th 100-yard game of the season, 30-10.
Oh, I would have said something to Buddy, but he wouldn't stand on the field long enough. He put his big fat rear end into the dressing room.
I resent that. I've been on a diet. I lost a couple of pounds, and I thought I was looking good.
That's great. The Bounty Bowl back in 1989.
Yeah, that was
you were on the list.
That was the good old days. Yeah, it was my rookie year. I tell you, it was the first time we faced Philadelphia. They were #1 in defense, and I think I had every body part x-rayed at the end of that game.
It's never been totally admitted to, but in case you don't know what the heck we're talking about, as Harris will take it out of the end zone and try the far side of the field. Fletcher there to force him out. It was Buddy Ryan who allegedly put a bounty out on the kickers in Dejas and the quarterback Troy Aikman. There's Jimmy Johnson. That piece of tape has got to make you smile a little bit, Jimmy.
Well, Troy will remember we were such a bad team in '89. I think Buddy was trying to keep his team interested in the ball game. That's why they had the bounties.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I wish they'd have done something different to keep it interesting.
We'll continue with Jimmy here as the Cowboys start at their own 35, and they need something to happen fast. 20-point game, and Romo is brought down. That's Graham. And this Eagles defense continues to play well. Well, first it was the kickers in Dejas, and Here he is staggering off the field after taking a hit on a kickoff, and then here you are. I mean, how about that defense that you and Jimmy had to deal with early in your career with the Philadelphia Eagles?
Hey, those guys were something, and I know when I'd visit with the other quarterbacks around the league, Warren Moon, Marino, Elway, and whenever they had to draw the Eagles in out-of-conference play, they knew what it was like to have to then face the Philadelphia Eagles.
Here's a pass caught by Bryant, brought down by Carroll. And a gain of just 1. Well, Jimmy, obviously better things were to come for you and for the Dallas Cowboys. This is a special week in the NFL when these two teams get together. Right now, it's been dominated by Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think because of Philadelphia really being able to run the football on offense, they've got their entire package. And the other thing is, I think Dallas has got to go to Dez Bryant more, even got to force it into Dez Bryant. He's going to make the big plays.
Well, they tried to get it to him on that last one. 3rd down and 14 now. Is it going to be 3 and out? Romo steps up and just floats it downfield. Pass underthrown, picked off. A flag is down. Intercepted by Allen, but a flag is down. And we'll see if it's against Philadelphia, and it is.
We'll take a look at it. There's Kerry Williams with the grab, and it's beyond the 5 yards. That's when the flag comes out.
Holding defense, number 26. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 1st down, Dallas.
We want to thank Jimmy Johnson for joining us from the studio. By the way, you and I were talking on the way out here. It's an automatic 1st down for Dallas. Buddy Ryan, who coached the Eagles from 1986 to 1990, still wildly popular in Philadelphia, was 8-2 as a head coach against Dallas. Not all against Jimmy Johnson, by the way. 83 years old, and the two of you were friends by the end of it all.
Well, I had great respect for him. He was an outstanding defensive mind. In fact, you talk to Buddy, heck, he feels that he had a lot of success too. He named one of his horses Fired for Winning. That tells you all you need to know about what Buddy Ryan thinks of his coaching career.
A 1st down by penalty. Here's a handoff to Dunbar. And Lance Dunbar is going to pick up a Dallas 1st down out near midfield, a gain of 14.
Well, the Cowboys get the hold to keep this drive alive after a sack, and 3rd and long, and what appeared initially to be an interception, and now the Cowboys are marching. A heck of a gain there by Lance Dunbar.
Now Murray back in the backfield behind Romo on 1st down. Murray. Nice run. Out of bounds near the 40 with another 1st down. He stiff-armed Bradley Fletcher. Picks up 9, maybe 9.5. Right now they have him short of the 40. Which would bring up 2nd down and a yard. That ties his longest run, Troy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, the Cowboys going right to the line of scrimmage. They know that time is winding down. They need to start getting some plays run.
Cowboys have not been able to find the big play today. And Tony Romo sacked. Brought down by Fletcher Cox. Another big game for a guy who should head to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, Fletcher Cox is having an outstanding day, and the stats haven't always shown it. He's been good against the run. Now he's able to work against Ron Leary, the left guard, and Brandon Graham was able to get past Ron O'Leary just a few moments ago. So they're starting to stack up against the left guard, and they're having some success no matter who lines up against them.
From 2nd and 1 to now 3rd and 8. Play clock at 4. Blitz. Pass to Bryant. Caught. Bryant's got a 1st down, Dallas. Working on Nolan Carroll. Keeping this drive alive, first by penalty, now on a conversion to Dez Bryant.
Well, Nolan Carroll, it's just one-on-one, and he's got a guard against them going deep, and it's 3rd and long. He's feeling that if they throw it underneath, he can come up and make a play on it, but not before Bryant gets the 1st down.
Under 3.5 to go, quarter number 3. Harlan off the edge. Penalty flag on the play. Romo throws it out of bounds, intended for Terrence Williams, but a flag is down. Get the call from Blakeman.
Illegal formation. Offense. The split end was covering the tight end. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
So it makes it 1st and 15.
You saw Romo. He initially thought it was going to be called against Philadelphia, and then you show the shot of Jason Garrett. You could tell by the disgusted look on his face that, those types of pre-snap penalties drive a coach crazy.
Romo's in trouble, slides out of it. Gonna go downfield and short of Devon Street. 2nd down and 15, and the pass protection is starting to break down with regularity for Romo.
Yeah, but watch how much room is in front of Tony Romo to run. This illustrates that he is just not. You see all this field out here. There was nobody there. They're in man coverage. Nobody's there to make a play on Romo. He would have picked up a nice gain. Obviously, he's not known for his scrambling ability in terms of tucking it and running. When he gets out of the pocket, he is looking to throw, but he missed an opportunity there to pick up a lot of yards. This telestrator's going crazy on me, Joe.
It is. It's Thanksgiving. That's what happened. 2nd and 15. Romo now he's protected. Pass is incomplete for Beasley. Now 3rd down and 15, and you have to continue to be impressed with the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Boy, really impressed. What they've been able to do is not easy, and they've held up. These guys up front, Fletcher Cox, we've seen it from Brandon Graham, Connor Barwin. These guys have been excellent in putting pressure on Romo. Really, the Washington game on Monday night was about the only time Romo's been under pressure this season in the pocket. But the Eagles have been able to get after him and be very disruptive.
3rd down and 15. Romo out to his left. Pass is picked off. Intercepted by Kerry Williams. Trying to get it to Terrence Williams, and Romo is intercepted. 2nd takeaway by this Philadelphia defense.
Well, Romo buys some time. He gets outside the pocket. I think this ball just gets away from him. He's trying to hit it to Terrence Williams. If he drives it down the sidelines, they've got a chance. He's off balance, making the throw, and it's behind, and Williams makes the play.
His 2nd interception of the season. Kerry Williams gets it. Eagles take over. You really have to credit the defense for Philadelphia. They came in allowing 54 plays of 20 or more yards, 3rd most across the NFL. Well, it's been frustrating for the Dallas offense. Des Bryant, the whole group. They have only 1 play today, a 38-yard completion to Des Bryant as a quote-unquote big play. So it's been a lot of short stuff, and the defense for Philadelphia just smothered Dallas.
Yeah, I've talked about it, that going up against this Dallas offense and being able to slow down DeMarco Murray and then be able to cover a big play guy like Des Bryant and then Jason Witten, not an easy task.
Here's McCoy. 3rd down and short coming up. Hitchens on the tackle.
Billy Davis, their defensive coordinator, he came over with Chip Kelly when he got the job last year and changed the defense from a 4-3 scheme to a 3-4 scheme. A lot of guys playing in different positions, but they have continually gotten better with each game.
Here is McCoy's got a 1st down for Philadelphia. Breaking tackles as he picked it up, gets 4 yards and a fresh set of downs.
And you talk about an important possession right now for Dallas defensively. With 1.5 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter, they've got to be able to get a stop. If the Eagles are able to drive this ball down, get it into the 4th quarter, and come away with a touchdown, it may be too much for Dallas.
On 1st down is Polk. His 1st carry, and he's got 10+. By the way, LaShawn McCoy is now over 1,000 rushing yards for the season. 4th time in 6 years in the NFL. And while he did not start out well, Games 1 through 5 was averaging under 55 yards rushing per game. He's picked it up now, and over the last 6+, he's at right around 100 a game.
Well, I'm a big fan of his. He's one of those guys that I'd pay money to come watch.
Under a minute to go, third quarter. Delayed handoff. It's Polk. And Polk is going to turn that into a 4-yard gain. Ran into the arms of Rolando McClain. Romo has been outplayed by Sanchez. You look at the ball control, which is misleading with regard to time of possession. All those plays put out there by this Eagles offense. This will be number 55, 2nd and 6. Here's Polk again, brought down from behind by Barry Church. Third down coming up. And now a fight breaks out. Macklin, Riley Cooper, with Sterling Moore right in the middle of it for Dallas.
That's the kind of stuff you expected to see back when Buddy Ryan was coaching this team.
That's the end of quarter number 3. Philadelphia with the lead and the football. It's a Thanksgiving special on Fox. Back after this from your local Fox station. Johnstons are here. It's your old fullback there, Troy. That's Moose and his wife Diane, who you're telling me is from just outside of Philly.
Yeah, Daryl Johnson, you talked about a great teammate. Always was. And Emmitt Smith owes a lot of those yards that he got to Daryl Johnston.
Here's a big third down and 4. Sanchez is going to find Macklin, who lunges for a first down. Jeremy Macklin, another big game as he is adding to the yardage for the season, his first 1,000-yard year.
That's a really nice catch by Jeremy Macklin. That ball had a little heat on it. Slow, but he's able to make the play. That was a big first down to keep this drive for Philadelphia. They're right. They're knocking on the door right now to be able to come away with 3 points.
Sproles in the backfield next to Sanchez. Mark Sanchez keeps it. He's got a wide open field in front of him. Slides with a nice first down as he carries it for 13 yards. And Sanchez is doing it all.
Yeah, there was a play about 3 plays ago where they ran this play and nobody accounted for Mark Sanchez. I thought it was going to be a matter of time before he kept it, and he does just a few plays later, and just nobody thinking that he's going to tuck it and run, and it's a big game.
It's a season long for Sanchez. There's his day throwing it. We need to talk more about Mark Sanchez, who is guiding his team now, and it's his team as McCoy carries it inside the 20 into the top spot in the NFC East. I mean, Sanchez, Troy, a guy who was basically laughed out of New York, getting his opportunity here and trying to take his team to a 9-3 start.
Hey, he said, coming into this game, I've played on this stage before. It's not too big for me, and he's come out here and played great. The last time a lot of the people around the country got a chance to watch him was 2 years ago on Thanksgiving night when he had a play he'd like to forget, but he has shined here tonight.
Here's McCoy, dragged down from behind, and a good play by Crawford. Let's go down to the field and Aaron Andrews.
And that play Troy is referring to is the butt fumble, which of course Joe said already. I interviewed Mark a couple of weeks ago about that, and he admitted he saw that play in his sleep for months. But he said, you know what, I had to let it go, and that was a big lesson I learned. And Troy, we talked about that last week. He's doing a good job of making fun of it, having a good time if you can with that whole play.
They laughed about it this week with us. Here's a 3rd and 1. It's McCoy. It's another first down. Ball comes out. That's a live ball, and it's picked up by Spillman. And right now, it's another fumble for Philadelphia. And another fumble by LaShawn McCoy. And if they were looking for a knockout blow, that fumble puts that on hold for the moment. Skandrick was in there. Was he down? He may have been down.
Ball was recovered by Dallas. First down, Dallas.
Right now, it belongs to Dallas. Barry Church made the stop, but they'll look at it. And we'll see if the ball comes out after the backside of LaShawn McCoy is on the ground. We'll get the call. When we come back, they'll look at it. And I think this ball stays with Philadelphia. We'll get the call right now from Clete Blakeman. Here we go.
After review of the play, the runner was down by contact prior to losing possession of the ball. On the 13-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line, Philadelphia.
Mike Pereira joins us from Los Angeles. We get this zoomed in look at it and pretty clear cut, Mike.
Yeah, you know, you guys were talking about the butt fumble just a second ago. This is the butt no fumble. The butt was down before the ball came out, so the ruling had to be reversed.
They'll be here all week, folks.
From the 13. He will be. And a full slate of games on Sunday.
Nobody works harder than Pereira.
No doubt. Here's Polk. First guy there was Hitchens.
Anthony Hitchens with the tackle.
So Hitchens makes the stop. That was a near turnover this Dallas defense needed. And LaShawn McCoy, who came in with 1 fumble lost, has lost 1 today. Put it on the ground twice, but that last one did not count. How about the offensive line? They've had 7 different starting offensive line combinations for Philadelphia. They are really well coached by Jeff Stoutland.
Well, they sure are. They've done a great job of overcoming a lot of injuries along that group.
Here's Polk. Down inside the 10. Peters has made all the starts at left tackle. Evan Mathis, the Pro Bowler last year, was hurt in week 1, his 4th game back. Kelsey with a sports hernia, his 5th game back. Gardner's now starting at right guard. He was a right tackle early, and Lane Johnson suspended the first 4.
Well, you don't have to look any further than the offensive line and the defensive line of the Eagles to see why they are winning this game the way that they are. They have dominated in the trenches on both sides of the ball.
And a timeout is taken.
Brent Selleck trying to play peacemaker between Riley Cooper and Mark Sanchez. A little discussion as to what Mark Sanchez called in the huddle.
Riley Cooper got some headlines this week when he said he was joking when he was critical of his teammate Jeremy Maclin, saying that Maclin's not going to come out because he's looking for a new contract. Maclin didn't think that was so funny. And you look at the rest of the schedule for these two teams. Philadelphia, they are at home against Seattle next. That's in basically a week and a half. Meanwhile, Dallas, they're at Chicago next Thursday with that game on NFL Network, and then you see the rest of the slate of games.
Well, initially you'd say, well, that doesn't look real good for Dallas. You know, I mean, 3 of their next 4 games or 3 of their next whatever are on the road, but yet they've played great on the road. They haven't yet lost on the road. The problems have been winning consistently here at home.
Now 3rd down and 4. Sanchez going to cut it loose, and he hits Cooper. Cooper wasn't ready for the throw. So it's 4th down.
Well, now I wonder if they're going to have a discussion. Riley Cooper wasn't ready for the throw, and Sanchez just beans him with it.
And one thing that's pretty much an unwritten rule is teammates don't talk about other teammates' contracts.
No, you get into that area, it becomes a little sensitive. Especially when you're a guy who's already gotten your contract.
Yeah, Macklin's a guy who coming off a torn ACL last year, basically bet on himself. Turned down a long-term deal and said, I'll just go on a 1-year deal, and boy, has that worked out to this point. Now Riley Cooper explaining himself on the sideline. 11:01 left, 33-10, Philly. On this Thanksgiving, we welcome you inside the main portion of our production truck. There's Pete Chalveris. There's our producer, Richie Zients. There's our director, Rich Russo. There's Colby Bourgeois. There's Jake Jolivet. And that crew, plus the rest of our men and women. I want to thank Capriotti's for supplying the crew with turkey sandwiches prior to a feast that's coming up at a local home here in the Dallas area. You ready for the onslaught of people to head over to the ranch? There's Parkey kicking it away, and Harris, why not? Trying to get a quick strike. That's not going to happen. And well played downfield by Brian Bremen. Next week, 4 of the nation's top teams face a must-win game to keep their championship hopes alive. The road to the college football playoffs goes through the Pac-12 Big Ten championship games next Friday and Saturday Only on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
That's a great job there by that special teams unit of the Philadelphia Eagles. And Dave Phipp, we've talked about him. To me, that's a no-brainer as far as special teams coach of the year. That unit has been outstanding all season long.
We can quantify it for you. Here's one for Williams. He makes the catch and hops out of bounds. They've got 2 punt returns for touchdowns, 2 kick returns for over 100 yards each for touchdowns. And they've got 2 block punts for touchdowns. And it centers around their guy, Darren Sproles, who's been such a big addition.
There was a real emphasis by Philadelphia in the offseason and the guys they went out and signed to shore up the special teams, and it's paid huge dividends for them.
20-yard completion to Williams. One of 2 big plays in the game, maybe another. Here's Murray with a catch and run out of bounds at the 48. But as we've talked so much about Philadelphia, you look at Dallas, and you look at Philadelphia's getting the ball to their star player in LaShawn McCoy. Dallas can't get the ball to Des Bryant. Can't really get much out of Murray. Can't get it to Witten. And the offensive line, this highly touted offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys, they've been manhandled by Philadelphia up front. Not a good showing. Romo down the sideline. Pass is broken up. Des Bryant had to wait for it. That allowed Bradley Fletcher and Malcolm Jenkins to combine to make the stop.
Well, Romo double clutched it just enough to where he wasn't able to get enough on this throw. Fletcher never really gets turned around to try to make a play on the ball at all. Trying to get some safety help over the top, but that regather in the pocket is what kept Romo from being able to drive it in what looked to be a pretty easy completion.
Now 2nd and 10. Romo too high for Beasley. Romo has missed some throws, no doubt. Beasley has a catch and a fumble in this game that came at the end of the first half.
Well, it's hey, I know from experience, I don't care if there's sacks or not, but if you're able to get pressure on the quarterback and disrupt the timing, and now you get to where you're getting hit enough times, you're not certain you're going to have that protection each time. It becomes a little bit more difficult to hang in there and throw with a great deal of confidence. And this Eagles defense has been able to apply consistent pressure throughout this game.
Bill Davis, defensive coordinator for the Eagles, got to be thrilled with the way his guys have played. On 3rd down, Beasley with a catch. He's out of bounds short of a first down. Boykin forces him out. Dallas in a position where they're going to have to go for it on 4th and 1.
Good catch by Cole Beasley. He had the costly fumble there in that first half. He stretches out, does a nice job getting both feet in.
Murray, what a play made by Kendricks. And an exclamation point on this effort for the Eagles defensively as the Cowboys turn it over on downs. Kendricks, what a play. At about 9 o'clock this morning here at AT&T Stadium,
We got an injury here.
Roger Staubach hosted his annual Turkey Bowl flag football game with friends and family. Here he hits Drew Pearson for a nice touchdown. And we talk about it, I think, every time we're here in Arlington doing a Cowboys game because Roger's always here. There isn't a classier, better man than Roger Staubach.
He's the greatest. He threw it to the original 88, Drew Pearson.
On 1st down, here's more from McCoy. And if you want to go back in time, 1975 divisional playoff game, the term Hail Mary, that was invented here, and it was Pearson on the receiving end to beat the Vikings 17-14.
Well, we saw that wrap around Staubach's left calf, and I ran into him in town about a month ago, and he was limping around, and he said he pulled his calf muscle, and I asked him how he did that, and he said he was playing in a flag football game and took off sprinting. So he doesn't just play flag football games on Thanksgiving. A great competitor, a great man.
The Eagles actually just huddled for the first time in the midst of a drive, and they run it with McCoy, and that's now 224 rush yards put up by the Eagles That's their season high, and it's the highest total against the Dallas Cowboys defense this season.
Well, we'll see what Philadelphia does now with this kind of lead. You know, when talking, you see here the play clock, how much time they're going to take off this clock, because like Mark Sanchez said, we never discuss taking air out of the football. It is full throttle no matter what the situation, but this is the lowest this play clock has gone that I've seen all afternoon. So they do take a little air out.
They're down at 6. Macklin shakes one tackle, can't shake the tackle, Barry Church. And it's 4th down. Philadelphia, we were there when they got picked apart by Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field a couple of weeks back, but they're now putting up back-to-back good games. And if you wonder about Nick Foles, who came in as the starter after a brilliant year last year under Chip Kelly, quarterback rating of over 119, 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, just fantastic. They figure to get him back before the end of the year, maybe in the Washington game in a few weeks. The way Sanchez has played here today, and since taking over as a starter with one exception, they're in no hurry to get him back because Sanchez has been terrific. Aaron will have a report on Nick Foles when we come back. Cowboys have it. In the booth, Steve Horn pops up out of, what were you doing down there, Steve? Pops up out of nowhere. He's on the far right, editorial consultant. Philadelphia zone, Ed Spida, our statistician. And then Jersey zone, Dave Schwalbe, our spotter in the booth. There's a pass caught, and they're going to give forward progress to DeMarco Murray out of the end zone as Connor Barwin made the immediate stop. A near safety, and Ben Altop, who is the best in the business at setting all this up in the booth every week, was in that shot as well. Good play by Barwin.
Yeah, Connor Barwin he's just having a great year, and I think he's certainly deserving of a Pro Bowl berth this year.
Romo too high for Williams. Kerry Williams defending. And now it's 3rd down and 13, and this is as bad as the Cowboys offense has looked in a long time with Romo at quarterback.
Well, give the Eagles credit. You know, they needed to prove that they could win a tough conference game on the road. They had a nice win early in the year against Indianapolis, but they have lost on the road at San Francisco, at Arizona, and then of course the shellacking they took at Arizona. So this is a nice win for the Philadelphia Eagles, assuming they can hang on.
Now on 3rd and 13, DeMarco Murray. He makes Fletcher miss with a stiff arm. He's still playing hard, but short of a 1st down. Tony Romo, by the way, entered today 38 straight games with a touchdown pass. The only touchdown for Dallas, DeMarco Murray run. And on 4th down, the Cowboys are going to punt it.
Yeah, you know, Romo's upset that they're not going for it on 4th down. I'm a little surprised they're not going for it on 4th down. This doesn't really serve much purpose, punting the ball with this little of time left on the clock. The only chance they have is to keep this drive alive, and I think Romo's day is done.
Here is Sproles. The dangerous Sproles. The best in the league, and now penalty flags fly. So we'll get the call from Clete Blakeman.
During the return, holding return team number 23. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down, Philadelphia.
We're going to hand out our annual Gobbler Award at the end of the game. Here is Jerry Jones.
Now that's a good-looking trophy. And it's a heck of a lot better than that piece of a gobbler that y'all used to give out. Congratulations. Well done.
Well, he's right about that. More of a plaque.
It has changed a lot over the years.
Yeah, it has.
I think we've locked into something that we're actually proud to give out.
Well, here's a list of the winners. It started with Emmitt Smith. You can see a lot of Cowboys and Lions on there. Dre Bly, who said last week the only guy who really actually seemed excited to win it was Dre Bly back in 2003. Here's Polk. Plenty of room to run. Good hit in the middle by Hitchens. Meanwhile, how about Sanchez? He keeps hearing about all the turnovers. And in his time with the Jets, he threw 68 touchdown passes, 69 interceptions, a lot of turnovers along the way. He came in with 8 turnovers in 15 quarters this season with the Eagles. He has not turned the ball over against Dallas this afternoon.
Yeah, you look at this Galloping Gobbler award as to who do you give it to? LaShawn McCoy has had an unbelievable day running the football, just short of 160 yards. But you know, Mark Sanchez has come in and done all the things that they needed from him in this game. He's made throws. He was decisive. He was accurate with the football. You know, you're not going to look at the numbers and be that blown away, but he has played an outstanding game, and I know he had a lot of pressure on himself to come out here and play well in this divisional matchup, and he's done that.
Dallas called a timeout. Here's Polk with 5.5 to go, and another timeout taken by Dallas. Well, Philadelphia will be watching. Same with the Dallas Cowboys. These players on Sunday, the NFL on Fox. Our crew will be in Pittsburgh for the Steelers and the Saints. Tom Brenneman, Donovan McNabb will bring you that game along with Carissa Thompson. All starts with a Fox NFL Sunday kickoff show at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1, followed by Fox NFL Sunday at noon Eastern, right here on Fox. So there are the games, and if you're the Saints and you've lost 3 in a row at home and you're tied in essence on top at 4-7 in the NFC South, now you have to go to Pittsburgh. Good luck.
Sometimes getting out on the road when you're struggling at home like that is a good thing for your team.
Here is Polk. He's going to keep his feet and pick up a first down.
You know, somebody's got to win that Southern Division.
Yeah. Well, look at the numbers here. Can you count anybody out in the NFC South? 4-7. Atlanta and New Orleans. Carolina 3-7-1. They tied Cincinnati earlier, and Tampa Bay at 2-9. They're not even out.
Well, that's what I say every week. We say, hey, and don't count out Tampa Bay, but at some point you got to win a football game, right?
Yeah, you do. Been a rough first year for Lovie Smith and the crew down there, suffering through injuries with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, we showed you Moose earlier. He'll be there with Kenny Albert and Tony Siragusa in that matchup coming up with the Washington Redskins taking on Indianapolis. And it was announced this week that the 3-8 Washington Redskins are benching RG3 in favor of Colt McCoy, who got a win here on a Monday night earlier in the year against Dallas.
That's I don't know. I want to say unprecedented. I can't think of a situation quite like it. 2 different head coaches bench him about the same point in the season. Your franchise quarterback, last year they said it was because they wanted to preserve his health and get him back to full speed coming into this season, and now he's benched by first-year head coach Jay Gruden. And to me, it goes beyond performance on the field, because you just don't bench a franchise quarterback that you've given that much up for at this point unless you don't believe in him.
Eagles are challenging the spot on that last play. Take a break and get the call when we come back. Here is Clete Blakeman with the call. After they initially gave Philadelphia first down, they pulled it back. One official overruled the other, so Philly challenged it. Here's the call.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field that the runner was down by contact short of the line of gain is confirmed. Philadelphia will be charged with its second timeout.
So the second official who came in there saw this, the left knee of Chris Polk come down, and then the fight for the first down, but he was down prior to it. So it's 4th down for Philadelphia. So the challenge, there's only one timeout left on the board. Dallas is out of them, and the Eagles have 1. Donnie Jones will punt it with Dwayne Harris waiting deep. And we will see if we see Romo again here today. That goes into the end zone, and Nolan Carroll is going to get up and shove Dwayne Harris, as Harris took that opportunity to get some frustration out. Well, happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving from Dwayne Harris to Nolan Carroll. Carroll's waiting for Harris to catch it. Harris knows it's over his head and headed for the end zone. And Dwayne Harris just peels off and flattens Nolan Carroll.
Yeah, that stuff's uncalled for. You know, all the things that are put in place in today's game in order to make the game safer, it's just unnecessary. Should be ejected from the game.
Then Harris got up and Brandon Graham was in the middle of it. They threw the flag. But that is clearly frustration and unnecessary.
We also have a dead ball personal foul, unnecessary roughness, Dallas number 17. That penalty reinforced from the 20-yard line to the 10-yard line. First down, Dallas.
So Harris is hot that he's called for the personal foul, but that's just too much. So it will move the ball back toward the Cowboys end zone. We'll see where they place it. And Romo is still in the game. Meantime, this has to feel awfully good for Mark Sanchez with the effort he put out there today. Able to laugh about that incident 2 Thanksgivings ago with the New York Jets, and he came in here and just played terrific football.
Yeah, real pleased with the job that he did in this ball game. And now looks like he's going to go on and be 3-1 as a starter for the Eagles.
Good throw. Been a while since we can say that. Terrence Williams makes the catch. Out of bounds with a nice pickup and a first down as he got 18. Kerry Williams in coverage. And it's been a while since you questioned the job done by the Dallas offensive line, but it has not been a good day for that group.
Tyron, stand out there to 23. No, you stay. I got 23. 27.
First down from the 28. Romo steps through trouble, looking for Bryant. He's got Des Bryant. Bryant is wrapped up on the Philadelphia side of midfield, gets 23 yards.
What's amazing is that the Eagles are trying to tackle him inbounds, and he is a load to try to get to the ground.
He is 6'2", 220. And is able to get out of bounds with 4:33 left. Romo out to his left, incomplete for Beasley.
Romo's pass intended for Cole Beasley, incomplete.
The Dallas Cowboys will have a Thursday game, and that will, in essence, finish off that 3 games in 12 days, that stretch for Jason Garrett's team.
49.
They will also look at the season to this point, realize they started 6-1. Now they're going to lose 3 of their next 5. They need 1 more win to guarantee their first winning season since 2009 and the first under Jason Garrett. They'll go to 8-4. The Eagles will go to 9-3. Here's Beasley. Flag is thrown on the play as Beasley is shoved out of bounds by Boykin, a gain of 9.
It looks like this flag's going to go against Philadelphia.
We'll get the call from Blakeman.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 27. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down, Dallas.
They get Jenkins for a hold as he grabbed a hold of Jason Witten. And Witten's been really frustrated here this afternoon and evening. They've thrown toward Witten 2 times. Got 1 grab, that's all. 8 yards. Romo dancing around, downfield, picked off easily. Intercepted by Nate Allen. Trying to get it to Devin Street, and that ball had a lot of air under it, was underthrown, and Allen's got another takeaway.
You can just tell that this pressure has taken a toll on Tony Romo within the pocket. He's not as decisive with the ball, and he's trying to make a play happen. I mean, you're down this much. I'm a little surprised he's even in the game when they didn't go for it there on 4th down. And so you throw it up, you try to give your guy an opportunity. There just wasn't anything there.
So Allen, who has a fumble recovery in this game, that came just before half, now has an interception, his 2nd of the year. And Tony Romo's frustration continues as the Eagles will take over. Starting at their own 9. Cowboys, as you mentioned, Troy, 5-0 on the road, the only undefeated road team this season. They're about to fall to 3-4 here at home. Here's Polk. The dominance continues out across the 20 to the 21. Brought down by Barry Church.
Well, then you look at Philadelphia and what they have ahead of them, and another good game for them. You know, they'll get some time to rest. They'll get 10 days, and then they come back and they host Seattle. And Seattle has been very inconsistent, but I'm not ready to count them out. They obviously proved what they're capable of doing.
He was asked a couple of weeks ago, are you the same back? Well, LaShawn McCoy has got 159 yards rushing today, had 130 last week against the Titans.
Gotta go.
Just get the snap away. Here's Polk again. Wrapped up by Wilbur. After a gain of 3, 2nd down coming up.
Well, the one thing I do know, Joe, with regards to LaShawn McCoy, whatever yards he had coming into this game is more yards than any other back in this league would have been able to get. And last week, when you look at the day that he had a really nice performance over 6 yards per carry, it was because the offensive line did a much better job of creating some running lanes. They got to the 2nd level, they blocked linebackers, and that was the case again here today. The offensive line dominated the line of scrimmage, but there's nobody that can make people miss the way LaShawn McCoy does.
Des Bryant still doing his thing over on the sideline. 2nd down and 7. And a carry up the middle by Polk of just 2. Coming up on the 2-minute warning, the Cowboys cannot stop the clock. The NFL will, because they stop it with 2 minutes left. I've been told in my ear, Troy, that man right there, not that man is going to win the Galloping Gobbler Award.
That's well deserved. And he's had a great game, as we've talked about. I'm a huge fan of his. You know, it's a shame we don't have more Galloping Gobblers, because I'd give one to all 5 of those offensive linemen, and I'd give it to that defensive front too.
And I'd give it to Mr. Lurie, and I'd give it to Chip Kelly. And it's Thanksgiving. We're going to give this thing out at some point here soon. All right, 2 minutes left. 3rd down for Philadelphia. We got a lot of notes to pass along. Ed Svita, our statistician, is working hard. He's happy. He's from Philadelphia. It's 33-10. Eagles on top. 3rd down and 5. This impressive showing continues. And how about Josh Huff? Here's another wrinkle for some other team to look at, is Huff, who was a 3rd-round pick out of Oregon and who is a receiver, carries out of the backfield and gets a 1st down with a run of 6 yards.
Yeah, something tells me that this offense, from what we've seen in the last year and a half from Chip Kelly, they're just scratching the surface on all the things that he knows.
I would agree. By the way, we want to extend an extra special happy Thanksgiving to our great colleague at Fox Sports coverage of NASCAR, Steve Burns and family, big football fan as well. Relaxing on the couch, enjoying the football games today. Hi, Steve, from all of us and our crew here in Arlington, Texas. Kneel down time. Okay, so here you go. 73 yards today for DeMarco Murray. That's a season low. His previous low was 79 yards against Arizona. LaShawn McCoy, 250-plus rushing yards in this game, the most allowed by the Cowboys in this stadium that opened in 2009, and that man, LaShawn McCoy, had 159 of them. Also had a touchdown on 25 carries. And we talked about the Bounty Bowl game back in 1989 on Thanksgiving. That was the Cowboys' worst on Thanksgiving, 27-0. This will be second worst. A 23-point margin and a dominant effort by Chip Kelly and his finely tuned team coming in here to Texas to beat the Dallas Cowboys. And the Eagles now are on top all alone in the NFC East at 9-3. And man, they were impressive here today.
It was an outstanding performance in every facet of this team, and now you look 2 weeks ahead, and regardless of what happens next week, another big matchup, this time at the Link there in Philadelphia between these two teams.
What a good game by that man, Mark Sanchez. McCoy, he's going to get the galloping gobbler. Little does he know what's in his immediate future. We'll see if he even cares when we come back.